Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Welcome. We are doing another haunted build for October, and we do one once every week of October. And this week I decided to do Monster House. Now, if nobody has ever watched Monster House, stop what you're doing. Go watch Monster House. But actually though, you should go watch it. It's actually a really good movie. I watch it every year when it becomes October. It's kind of like watching Home Alone in December. Like, you have to watch it. It's a must, like you have to go watch it. It's just like a tradition, and watching Monster House is my tradition. Like, the other day I was on my way to work and I have music to listen to. I was just like getting bored because I listen to my the same playlist, because I have Apple Music. I don't use Spotify. I don't want to pay to use Spotify, so I just have Apple Music. But I play my music, but it's like the same playlist all the time. So I got kind of like bored of listening to it, and I had like a long drive. My work's probably like an hour and a half away from my house, so I had like a good long drive away from me, and I'm like, what am I gonna listen to? Because I'm so bored of my other songs. So I was like, why don't I just go watch Monster House, but not watch it, like I'll play it on in the background, because I've listened to it and I've watched it for so long. I really don't need to look to know what's going on. If I can hear it, it's kind of like you can picture it in your mind. I don't know if that's safe. Is that safe to do while you're driving? I mean, I swear I had no issues coming to work, but I hope it's okay. But it's a really good film. But kind of like the baseline of the movie, I'm not going to spoil it, don't worry, but I'm just going to say kind of like what the summary is. So there's a guy named DJ, and he lives across this road from this house that I'm building. And he thinks that there is something freaky going on with it, whether that be the old man that lives in there or something else in general. He doesn't know, but he stalks him. He stalks him through his window with a telescope, and he just doesn't think that there's something, he thinks that there's something off about the house. And throughout the movie you kind of realize kind of like what's going on, and it's really fun. It's a classic for me. I love it. I love watching it. So if you ever get the chance to watch it, comment down on the comments down below if you watched it, and if you liked it, what part did you like the most? Or if you haven't watched it yet, then tell me if you decide to go watch it, and then tell me what your favorite part is, because that made me so happy. And then we can all talk about why we love the movie so much. And if you hate the movie, just lie to me. Just say that, oh my god, it's amazing, I love it so much, and then I'll be like, right? And that's all you have to say, because we don't want negativity when it becomes that movie's amazing. I don't want to hear anything negative about it. It'll make me upset. But yeah, so right now I'm just kind of working on the house. As you can see, I've already done the exterior of the house to an extent. I was having a little trouble with the roof. I'm not very good at roofs. Please don't judge me on it. I tried to cut it down so you can see me struggle as much as I did. But you can kind of tell that I was having an issue with the middle part of the roof. I wanted it to be kind of like flat across on the top, and it just wasn't working for some reason, because the house wasn't like even. Also with the walkway, we really need, with the two squares beside each other, that line in the middle, we just needed to, like, if it can go in there too, like you see that line and it's off, and I can't make it too big because that's not what it's like in the movie. And it was just kind of like it was so difficult for me to do it. So I think in the end I keep it like this. I know if you're OCD, you're like probably yelling at me through the screen, and I'm really sorry. But please just try to like not look at it if that's possible. But right now I'm also putting in a lot of grass that I found in Debug. It comes in really good like use. I love putting different little details when it comes to the walls of the house with all the decals or all the different types of grass or sticks or rocks when it comes to outdoor stuff. I think it just brings the house to life, and it brings a little bit more realism to the build, and I think it was really great. And also, these pillars that I was putting in aren't actually pillars from the build by. Obviously, they're from Debug. I think I keep them in, but I'm not entirely sure. But I think they look really cool because the ones that come in build by look too clean. This house is like super old. It's not supposed to be like the modern mansion, you know? It has to be kind of like run down. And I think that's the wood pillars do the good job of that. So I think it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the house overall. The inside, I was doing a lot of research with inside of the interior of the home. I see what's kind of going on in the house in the beginning of the movie. You kind of like throughout the movie you can kind of see inside, but they don't show you a lot. And I realized that they had a PS4 or PS5 game of Monster House, and I thought that was really cool, and I never knew that. So I was kind of watching it, and it had the kind of like the layout of the home. I know it wasn't exact, and what I have in this build is not exact. It is by far not exact. I tried to make the exterior as exact as it can be, but on the interior, as you will see, it's not exact. I just didn't know how to do it. So it's a super weird shape. I tried to do it to the best of my abilities though. The outside was also giving me a little bit of an issue because the window on the left, that curved window, I was trying to find like a happy medium because the one in the movie is small, and it was just not working because none of them were small enough for it. The window was a lot bigger in the game, so the one that you see right now on the upstairs, like that little one, I definitely don't keep because it is way too small for my build, and it's just gonna look really weird if I kept it there. So I think I kept the mosquito one, or it was base game, I'm not sure, but the one that you saw before that looked kind of normal, that's the one I used. So yeah, so I'm kind of just doing that. I'm kind of going over putting the trim all over the house. I think I keep a different fencing for the porch because they're a little bit crooked. They look really cool because they kind of look handmade, but I don't know if I keep them in or not. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I guess I don't know. I have to get used to talking because I am going to be doing a lot of speed builds. So I don't know really what to talk about. I guess I can talk about work because I was talking to you guys before about what I was listening to on my way to work. So yeah, it's like an hour and a half away. I just started probably like a month ago. I used to work at a different place and they were getting rid of a lot of people. Unfortunately, I was one of them. So they were kind of just like, you go now. And I was like, okay. So I left, and then a week later, my sister, she kind of comes to me and she says, hey, there's a position opening up for this job at I work at. If you're interested, you can apply. And I was like, well, I need to pay off my car. So I'm like, yeah, definitely I will. So I did. I got an interview not that long ago after that, and bam, I've been working there for I think almost a month now, which is crazy to me. So it's been kind of weird because it's bittersweet because we have a lot of different people from different parts of the world, so they're working with us, and I've been learning a lot of languages. I've been learning a lot. It's a really cool experience because you're working with a lot of people from different parts of the world, so you learn their culture, you learn words they say. There's a lot of times where I want to learn everything about their language, but then another part of me doesn't want to because I'm afraid of there's another part. Like one time I'm gonna walk by and then they could be talking about me and they could be saying some really mean things, and I'm too sensitive for that. So I don't want to know what they're saying. But usually everybody has been pretty nice. Generally they are all, there's a lot of male workers around me. I am the youngest out of the people I work with. I'm really the only girl around there. So it does have its pros and cons, I guess. I don't know what the pros would be. I guess it kind of gets to see, like, yes, I'm a girl, but I can still do the work, you know? But I guess I could say, like, a story. The other day I was working and there was a man. I'm not gonna say his name, but there was a man, and he was like, "Hey, you seem like a really nice girl. I could get your number and we could maybe be friends outside of school." Sorry, not at school. I'm not at school. Why am I at school? I haven't been to school in like 4 years. They're like, "Oh, I could be your friend outside of work, and we can talk, and it'll be really nice." And I was like, I'm not very good at confrontation. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm not good at confrontation. I'm not used to a lot of people asking me these questions, and I find myself to be like a pushover. I'm too nice sometimes, where it's like I can't say no. So when he said that, I was just like, "Oh yeah," and then I kind of like walked away, because I was like, I don't know what to do. This man's like 30-40 years old. I am not that age. I am not that age. So I was just like, "Oh, okay, I'll just go away," because it was super weird. So the whole day goes by, like 10 hours go by, and I get home. Sorry, on my way after work, we have the parking lot, and like what you would do, like what you would have out of work. And I went out of the building, and I'm walking towards my car, and I see him, and he's standing by my car, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, great. And he's like waving, and he's like, "Hey," and I was like, ugh, like, huh? And there's people walking by who are also working. They're kind of like looking at me like, what's going on over here? And I'm like, it's not like that. I don't know what's kind of going on. And I start walking over. I don't know what to say. A lot of things are going through my mind. I'm like, I could just turn back, but he would see me turn back, and I couldn't go back into the building. I can't do that, because that'll make me look like an awful person. So I was like, shoot. I'm like, okay, I'll just walk over there. I'll be nice. I'll act dumb, like I don't know what he's talking about, and I'll go home. Simple as that. I walk over, and he's like, "Hey, aren't you going to give me that thing that I asked you for earlier?" And I was like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Your number." And I was like, "Oh, number." There's a lot of things that you could say about numbers. I don't know, like the date, like like the year. I don't know, your mom's number. I don't know, like, what kind of number are you talking about? He's like, "Your number." And I was like, "Oh, I don't really remember anything talking about that." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you can put your number in my phone, and I can talk to you at home." And I was just like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm just like not work appropriate. I'm technically your supervisor, because that's what I am. I'm like their supervisor." And I was just like, I don't really think that that's an appropriate thing kind of to do. It's like, sorry, that kind of thing. And he was like, "Oh no, it's okay. Like, we're just gonna be friends, and I just want to say hi and all that stuff. I really love you. You're really nice, and this and this and that." I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And like, I'm at my car. I can't leave. Like, I'm basically in a corner. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so I was just like, "Oh no, sorry. Like, I have a boyfriend. I don't know if that's good." And he was just like, "Oh, he doesn't have to know." I'm like, "But boy? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "What do you mean he doesn't have to know? What do you think this is?" I'm like, "This ain't it, bro. This ain't it. Like, this ain't it." And so I didn't know what to do, and he was just kind of like pushing it on me, and he kept doing it. He was like, here's my phone, put in your number. And I was just like, no, it's okay. And he just kept persisting, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I really, really, really don't know what to do. So I grab his phone. I should have put in a different number. I didn't. I put in a different number. I didn't want him to message me. And I was like, here you go. Like, and then he was like, oh, great. He's like, you can put in my number in your phone. And he's like, here, you put it in your notes. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I cannot leave this guy alone. Maybe I'll just say like, yeah, sure. And like, I'll kind of just like go away and I'll just delete it when I get in the car. So he gives it to me. And I put it down in my notes and I'm just like, okay, yay, got it. And he was like, and then he starts to like lean on my car. And he was like, so you have Facebook? And I lied and I was like, sorry, no, I don't have Facebook. And then he says, oh, you have WhatsApp? And if any of you don't know what WhatsApp is, it's kind of like Messenger for Facebook, or just messages in real life. Like a lot of companies use it so that you can have like a group chat and you can just talk to everybody. And I guess a lot of people use that for talking to people internationally. I'm not sure. Anyway, so he asked me and he's like, do you have WhatsApp? And I lied again and I was like, no, I don't have WhatsApp, sorry, don't know what that is. And he was like, oh really? And I was like, yeah, like I don't, I know, I'm sorry. And so he was like, oh, that's too bad. Okay, well, you know, and he just kept talking and he kept persisting because he was like, maybe I can talk to you on Facebook. Are you sure you don't have it? Like, he just kept going. He kept going. I was like, no, I don't. Like, can you please leave me alone? Like, my car is here. I literally can't go anywhere. All my coworkers who are like walking away, they're kind of like looking around like, what's going on? What's this going on? Like, what are you doing? And I literally couldn't go anywhere because it was just I was just super uncomfortable and I didn't know what to do. You know, it was super weird. I you know, usually when you're like, yeah, and then you kind of just like walk away, you think like they kind of just be like, they'd be like, oh cool, and then they just never talk to you ever again about it. But like these guys, I don't get it. Like this guy is so persistent, and he just kept trying to talk, and then he waited for me at my car. Like, dude, I understand maybe where you're coming from, but I don't know who you are. Like, what happened if I said no in like a rude way? Like, what? Like, I was at my car by myself in the parking lot. I don't want to be like the little girl and be like, oh my God, I could have got like this, or I could have done that. Like, but really though, like, who knows what could have happened? So I'm just glad nothing like bad happened. But yeah, the next day, we was talking to my boss about it, and they were kind of talking about kind of like what we were gonna do about it, and eventually they just had to fire him because, you know, you shouldn't be waiting for people at your car. You know, you just don't do that because it's kind of weird. So, but yeah, so it hasn't been all bad. A lot of them have been really nice. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people that I've been working with are really nice, and usually they are. I think it was probably just like a bad apple, but everyone seems to be quite respectful and quite nice. Like, I just don't want any of that like weird stuff happening, and nobody does, because it's just uncomfortable. It's just weird. But I think it was just a bad apple. I don't want that to happen again. So that's my story about, I don't know, like my second week at my job. But we're gonna have a lot of these people that we're working with until like kind of like the end of the Christmas. So if I have any other interesting weird stories to tell, I will tell them. And if you want that, just let me know in the comments down below, and I can just, you know, have like maybe like a little story time. But anyway, back to the build because I got super off track. But anyway, so we're working on the upstairs. This is the tiny little room that I guess the older guy kind of like does his stuff, like he kind of works, and you can see him at one part in the movie. He's looking out the window, and I kind of just made it my own. I don't know 100% how that room is laid out, but it looked kind of tiny. It had a lot of junk in there, a lot of wood, because he likes making signs. So I decided to put a couple of matches in there, put in a folder, whatever. If he gets mail, I don't know if he does or not. This upstairs layout is really weird. Please don't yell at me because I know it's really bad. It's like, it's got like the main area, it's got like the woodworking area, and then it's got some weird bedroom. And then that side on the left where there's just like a bunch of random space is just not... It's not really, there's not really much going on. It's just a really weird layout because in The Sims versus in a movie, it's just different and it just doesn't work. It doesn't have the right, like dimensions, the layouts of it. So everything's kind of like way off. And I kind of just winged it for the upstairs and the inside. As you can tell, like I made a kitchen. In the movie, you can't see a kitchen. I made like a tiny little sitting area downstairs. I don't think that was in the movie. I tried to pull off some inspiration from the, I guess the video game that was on the PS4 and the PS5. Not much going on there either. So I kind of just tried my best. I kind of pulled a bunch of things from here and there, and then I kind of just made it my own, so it's okay. But now I'm just making the bedroom. Of course, you have to have a rocking chair because those things are creepy, and I decided to put that in there. I don't know if that bedroom is totally what's the word I'm looking for? It's functional. I don't know if it's completely functional because I don't know how close that rocking chair is to that bed, and I don't know if your sim can get around it. I think they can get around the other side though, so I think you can try that. Right now I'm kind of just working on the living room. This living room isn't really, there's not really much going on either. I did a lot of wall decals because I think that it really brings in a lot of character to a home. Just like on my other build that I had done, I did the real Conjuring house, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out because it is really cool. And I did try and make it down to like a T of how well the layout is, to the best of my abilities, obviously. And I put in a lot of wall decals because it just makes an old home look more old. Even though it's exaggerated a lot, it just brings a lot of character, and I think I really like it like that. Even though in the movie it's not as run down as this. Yes, it is a rundown house. Trust me, if you see the movie, you know what I mean. It's a rundown home, but in The Sims, I wanted to make it a little bit more rundown because, you know, there's one older man living here. He's kind of just, you know, vibing, but he's not really doing much. So the house, there's cobwebs, there's cracks, there's, you know, weird things kind of going on that doesn't really go on in a regular home, you know? So I kind of just wanted to do it that way, but still keep it functional to an extent. You know, I always say just functional, and then like 5 minutes later I'm like, I don't know if the bedroom's functional, just try. Like, yeah. Anyway, the basement, I'm working on the basement. I don't think there is a way to get downstairs. Oh my god, why am I'm like lying to you straight up, because I'm like, oh, this is a functional house. You can't go in the basement though. Jamie, why are you like this? But you can teleport downstairs if you'd like. There's not a lot of room to walk around. Because there's a lot of just junk downstairs, and if you've seen the movie, you know why. And also right here, this is a little secret area that is in the movie. It's kind of really creepy. I'm kind of glad the way it came out, kind of not. I'm kind of indecisive about it. I'm not sure. There's a lot of just random toys downstairs, and the toys that we have are really small, and they're either really small or they're really big, and I just couldn't find a happy medium. So in the end, I think I got it kind of okay, but this room in the movie is a lot bigger. It's like an actual basement, but I could not bring myself to bring all those toys and just like place them and plop them around. So as you can see, I used a lot of debug items for this room. I think it really brought everything to life because it brought in a lot of more objects that we don't really have in the build and buy. We also are moving on to the bathroom. This is the only bathroom of the home, and I literally always have to put in that that bath that has that curtain wrapped around it. It looks like a haunted shower. It just looks like that old shower that you see in those movies where it goes ching 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 and then someone dies. It just looks like one of those showers. It's I don't care what you say. I don't care what your opinions are about it. If you think otherwise, it is what it is. It is what it is, and it looks creepy. And I always use it because I'm sorry, it just looks creepy. Again, I'm just moving on to the outside of the house. I have all the lights that I'm trying to put because it gives you that nice creepy ambience of the home. And now I'm moving on to the back. I'm just trying to put in like a back porch because I think he'll look really nice. You can't see the back of the home in the movie. I don't know if you can in the video game because I didn't stay and watch it that long to even know if there is or not, so I'm sorry. I kind of just did the same thing that I did in the front of the house. Not the same pillars though, because I forgot where I grabbed them. So I grabbed the ones from Snowy Escape, I believe that these are. So it still has the wood. It doesn't match the railings, and I'm sorry again with your OCD if you're there. I apologize. But again, I'm just putting in a bunch of different decals, making the home look a little bit more run down. I love it. I just think it looks so good, because just having like a regular panel wall, it just doesn't bring the character of the home to life. And we have the basketball, the classic basketball outside. I don't even know what's going on with my voice right now. I don't know why it sounds so like dead, right? I think it might be the changing of the season, the allergies. I think my nose is a little stuffed up, so please, I apologize if I do sound like a weird, like, dying horse. I don't know, sound, I don't know. But we're done the video. So if you enjoyed, or if you stayed this long, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.